Hey, whoa, it's a Tuesday. I'm Dominic D'Angelo of AdFreeShows.com, Podcast Heat, and SEScoops.com too. I'm here with Mr. Robert Karplis. He's back. WE Creative _ish. Robert, good to see you. Hope you had a great birthday weekend. Happy belated birthday to you. And I hope New York brought you all the good cheer you needed.
New York was absolutely beautiful. It was snowy. I was gonna before we get on. Dom was like, we don't have a blue cherry because I had it all teed up because we got 8 inches in New York, and I was gonna say if you're no, and then I was gonna do a whole. It's the end of the year. It's holiday time. You got to keep it clean for the end of the year. We'll say hi to the folks joining us. Missed you all. Throwing us a was up.
Yes.
I got to be honest. I don't keep track of how many Z's he puts in there. I don't know if it's a different number every time or if it's a copy paste. We'll have to keep track of that in 2026. So the Z counter. Cammy Star says another windy, cold after morning to everyone. This weather is for the birds. Well, maybe the penguins. Yeah, Don was telling me in beautiful Pittsburgh, which is an oxymoron. It was a little cold out there today.
Just a little bit, just a touch. It was really cold yesterday. The wind was nuts, bonkers. We also have a Jay Wade saying, "Morning, fellas. Here to pop in with my
Hey,
sporadic appearance." All right.
welcome
Good to
back,
see
sir.
you.
Wrestling Old Head throws a good after morning R&I. It's cold up here, but WWE is heating up going into 2026. Clearly, someone's auditioning for a job with the WWE PR team. So,
Oh,
so here's to you for that, Dre Owens. Hello, R&I from cold and windy. Is our entire fan base today just located in the general Pennsylvania area?
I guess so. I didn't know Dre Owens was from
Primarily just the
Pennsylvania.
Amish. Does Willow beat Mercedes tomorrow for the TBS strap? We will get to that. It's funny. I just had a whole conversation about that with Scott Chaplin. We did a Working Stiff Patreon where we went deep on World's End. That should be up on the Patreon soon. It's in your inbox, Dom, if you haven't
Ooh,
had a
very
chance
good.
to look at
Very
that
good.
yet. I'd upload it. But yeah, I was blown away that they were really doing Willow and Mercedes for the TBS title on a show that's probably going to be somewhat sparsely attended on television wise since it is New Year's Eve. And also, not to get on a tangent, but AEW has been working very, very hard of late to establish a women's tag team division. And then they immediately take one of the women's world tag team champions and put her in a singles match for a title. That is
Hmm.
very Vince McMahon-ish. One of Breeze says, hello, R&I, new tag champs. Despite the criticism of the Usos as singles, they're a hell of a tag team. They definitely know where their bread is buttered. Can't say otherwise. Wrestling Old Head wished me a happy belated birthday, which appreciate that. I feel at least 1 year older. What was your favorite gift?
Yes, Robert. What was it?
Actually, my trip was my present. My wife took me up to New York for the weekend. That was the surprise. She plans it out. Had great restaurants. Went to go see some great shows. Got to see Waiting for Godot. They pronounce it Godot for some reason in this performance, which
What?
is odd. But I was three
It's
rows
with
away.
Bill and Ted.
It was 3 rows away from Mr. Keanu Reeves. He was fantastic. Um, my least favorite gift was I was trying to avoid any spoilers in the wrestling world. Didn't want to
Mhm.
know what happened on World's End. Wanted to come back and watch it clean. You know who spoiled it for me on my birthday? Not you. You came
Oh,
close. Uh,
okay.
the new world champ. I was like, well, guess I don't need to watch the main event now. So, thanks, MJF. I did. I watched it. Watched it all. Hold on. Marty wants to come say hello. He's very
Oh,
excited that
Marty.
we're back.
What
Yeah,
a
I didn't.
pooch.
Yeah, we didn't get in until like 1 o'clock in the morning last night, so he did not get a lot of quality time with all of y'all here. Uh, Travis Wadlow pointing out I'm in California and it's foggy as hell in the Central Valley.
Dang it. So jealous, Travis. Way to rub
Yes,
it in.
there's some bagging on Nebraska and Oklahoma and various geographical locations. In Florida, it is a cold front right now. Admittedly, in Florida, it is
Which means how cold is it?
it's 65 right now, which means we
Unbelievable.
we did get the frozen iguana alerts.
Ooh, you got
This
to
is
be
a real
careful though.
thing. This is a legitimate
Frozen iguana?
issue. Iguanas, which are not indigenous to South Florida, have taken over South Florida, and they are huge. They can be 3-4 feet long. They can get 50, 60 pounds. And when they freeze in the cold, They like to live up in high trees a lot, and they will fall like a block of ice. They'll be fine, but if it lands on you, it will kill you.
Oh,
So we constantly have to be alerted about watching for falling iguanas. They look like they're dead, they're not, but they will absolutely squash you like an Eddie Kingston pre-show match.
that's unbelievable. All right, Robert. Before we get to it, I guess let's talk. I want to get your thoughts on at World's End, what you thought of it as a pay per view, and the big happenings that went on.
So, admittedly, just spent an hour and a half talking about it in depth. So, I'm going to give sort of the somewhat Cliff's Notes
Yeah.
versions. I know we want to get to Raw. They tried. They tried to craft a pay per view that was going to have some storylines and some moments. I don't understand a lot of the decision making that ultimately wound up happening on that pay per view. The way they laid it out did not do them any favors. And Chicago is admittedly one of the hottest crowds in the world. They're sort of an idiot proof building. No matter where you run, when I ran with a company whose name we no longer will ever mention, they were white hot for those shows that we would put on. I mean, packed to the rafters, bell to bell, nonstop. AEW found a way to pretty strongly extinguish that audience. I get that you needed to have your two Continental Classic prelim matches in the beginning because you needed to let those guys get a chance to kind of catch their breath a little bit. Having Okada go 20 minutes or 17 minutes and change, and Moxley going 20 minutes. I get it. They needed a breather. Narratively, storyline wise, very, very brief. What I thought they were going with this and where they ultimately went with this did not make a lot of sense. It felt like the setup was there and then they whiffed. So you have Okada going over to Keshta through the utilization of the screwdriver, which makes you wonder, did Don Callis plant the screwdriver? Was he in on it? Was he part of it? Which is what I think we predicted when we talked World's End last week, that the idea was going to be the intrigue of can Takeshita trust Okada? Okada not putting the screwdriver back where it was supposed to go. So when Fletcher went for it, it wasn't there. And Moxley got the win over Fletcher was intriguing because then the other question is, did Okada mess up in putting the screwdriver in the wrong spot, or was it intentional because he didn't want to have to face Kyle Fletcher in the finals? Further intrigue. It would have made more sense for Okada to ultimately win and celebrate this win standing next to two guys in Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher who don't trust him, as Don Callis is trying to keep the Don Callis family together. At the same time, Moxley delivering the, it was a hell of a thing. We did this for the fans. And then the rest of the Death Riders, who lost in their match, being hypocrites and descending on and destroying babyface John Moxley, with Renee standing 3 feet away. You've got a minted main event babyface in John Moxley. You've got a killer heel faction in the Death Riders again. You then got what's going on with the Don Callis family and their 92 members. And also, lastly, it would make the unified title situation not feel completely worthless. We unified the titles to never do anything with them, just to split them up again. And oh, by the way, beating Okada going into Wrestle Kingdom, where he's going to be facing Tanahashi in Tanahashi's last match.
Yeah. Yeah. So is the international title, is that a thing now again?
The international title is a thing. The continental title is a thing. Max is world champion, which is tremendous, but it's like, where do we go from here? I don't see a lot of immediately interesting or exciting avenues. And there was so much filler on that pay-per-view. It was like back-to-back great matches for the Continental Classic. I feel like Scott Chaplin talking about how great the Continental Classic was. But then a men's tag team title match where we just saw the match on TV. So we had the pay-per-view rematch with a somewhat thrown together tag team of Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn. I get that they're in the same stable, but it's kind of like, all due respect to your former co-host, it's Road Dogg and X-Pac as opposed to the New Age Outlaws. Sure. You're not going to be as excited about it. And then the women's tag team title match, which was not doing them any favors, a Darby Gabe Kid match that, for all of the storyline going into it of these guys hating each other, it was just a match that ended with a fluke roll-up. I was like, huh? And then the Mixed Nuts match. I, I get that it was funny where it's like, they're married and now they're wrestling, but like, find something better for all those folks to do. The
Or don't
Statlander
put them
match,
on
I
the
thought,
show.
what?
Or don't put them on the show for right now.
Well, I mean, the pre-show had Jurassic Express and Jet Speed versus The Demand and Josh Alexander. That feels like a Dynamite main event right there.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's great.
a lot of odd decisions. I don't think it's controversial to say it was a somewhat underwhelming pay-per-view, but MJF is our world champion again, so maybe the ends justify the means.
That could be very much it. We'll have to preview that tomorrow.
Dre Owens asks,
but
Owen, did the Hurt Syndicate just vanish? I found out subsequently Bobby Lashley is injured,
yes,
but AEW does not do a great job of explaining when someone's injured or not. I was confused because I saw Mascara Dorada teamed up with Bandito on the pre-show, and there was no Brody King. So my first thought is Brody King injured? Like, the best thing you can hope with the AEW booking is if someone's not on TV for a long time, it's because they're injured and not Tony forgot they exist.
Right. Speaking of injured, real quick, I did cover the that newsworthy spot that Kyle Fletcher and Moxley did, that exploder suplex off the top rope yesterday. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because William Regal expressed some for sure, and then Kenny replied to him, back to it, and it was pretty a diplomatic response by Kenny, considering he worked for AEW. But what do you think about any of that, Robert?
Well, why don't you get into, I guess, a little bit of what, unless you covered it yesterday, what Regal said and Kenny's response and Piper Niven's
I did cover
response.
it. I only covered Regal's response. I did not cover Kenny. So this is what Kenny had to say about it all too. Here it is. I'll pull it up on X here. Kenny happened to say, regardless of timing or perceived intent, the general message from Mr. Regal remains a positive one. Tribalism, whataboutism, and other isms aren't needed here. Safety often takes a back seat when a wrestler is locked in and actively chasing the dragon. We all sometimes need a voice from afar to tether us back to reality and tell us the risks have consequences. He also goes on to say, I look at this all as great food for thought, something to always be cognizant of. It should be about making it a competition. Thank you, Mr. Regal. So I thought it was a good response on Kenny's part, for sure. But we did cover it.
I know. Piper Niven kind of said something along the lines of, "You do need to be safe and smart, especially when you're doing anything involving your head and neck."
Yeah,
there are ways to take bumps that are safer than others, and at the end of the day, it does not improve my enjoyment watching somebody almost actually die within wrestling. And
Right.
and it's the, not to be cornet, but it is that idea of, if you are a good storyteller in the ring, you can do this without hurting yourself or hurting someone else. I know Bret Hart, I invoked his name and I was like worried like he's going to appear behind me. Well, you are dressed in pink and black, so you may be the hitman in disguise.
Yes.
His criticism of Gunther was always that, like, adjust my shirt, my dog's laying on my lap, he's like tugging the shirt down. That Gunther's chops, you shouldn't actually be hurting the guy and blistering their chest. It's supposed to be a work. Some of the best wrestling matches are going to be matches where the guys are completely safe and well protected at all times. I've always been critical of a guy like Darby Allin, who feels the need to go out there and take insane bumps all of these matches, and they don't wind up meaning anything. You kind of forget them. If you sat and talked to Mick Foley's the first to tell you, yeah, I took some of those bumps because I was just trying to get noticed, but now my body is really feeling it. I am concerned about where they're physically going to be. And Kenny Omega is a guy who, since the inception of AEW, we've been waiting for him to step up and be the face of that company. It's never going to happen. He is physically not in a position where he can work a 52-week schedule. He's very much a victim of the damaged goods. You have Bryan Danielson sitting on commentary because Bryan Danielson took so many shots to his head and his neck over the years. There are ways to be entertaining on television. There are ways to put on great matches where you are protecting yourself. And Kyle Fletcher is a dude who is, by all intents and purposes, the future of professional wrestling. He is the guy who, when I did our working stiff end of year, said that, hey, he's probably going to be the guy by end of 2026 who Tony realizes we can build the company on him right now. He's got all the, I was watching Moneyball last night, so this is in my head, the 5-tool hitter. or the five
Yeah,
the 5-tool
5-tool
player.
player.
Yes,
Mm.
that is Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher has a star look. He's got a great physique. He's got a great promo. He's great in the ring in a technical manner. He's great in the ring in a storytelling manner. And he's a guy that can go and do press for you outside. And you go, who's this guy? He's captivating. He's interesting.
Yes, very much. And yeah, to your point, Robert, it's like, yeah, it's a shame. You think about Kenny, and you think about a current guy that they're wanting to push to the moon too, and Will Ospreay, who's out on the shelf with a big surgery and everything. So it gives a lot of
Devin Dowling
consideration.
asks, interesting question. Who has
Mhm.
bigger potential, Kyle Fletcher or Austin Theory? Oh, no, not that. No, he was being a jerk
This
about
one.
that. It was funny. It was a jerk. He's like, oh, Kenny Omega was the AEW and TNA champion at the same time. That is true. Kyle Fletcher has the bigger potential. I think, number one, there's baggage with Austin Theory that Austin Theory is, it's going to take a long time for him to shake that. There were early behavioral matters with him way, way, way back when. I always find it funny that part of what led to WWE not signing MJF was Austin Theory was so immature in developmental that they're like, we don't want to bring in another 20, 21-year-old kid. We're going to
Yeah,
wait a couple years to bring him in. And Theory has had 3 or 4 start and stop pushes in the company. This is his second go around in a stable indirectly involving Seth Rollins. He was identified as the chosen one by Vince McMahon. They put him over John Cena, and it didn't lead to anything. So I think he's got so much to prove that there's a little bit of flop sweat on what we're going to see from Austin Theory, whereas Kyle Fletcher is such a natural, and he's got, as dumb as it sounds, he's got height. And that's
does.
always going to make you feel like a big deal. The thing they have to resist with Fletcher is the Randy Orton problem of if the crowd starts cheering for him, that dude is not a babyface. He is an absolute, you want to see him get punched in his nose heel.
He's got that bully like face kind of heel, that
He's got the
classic
bully
80s
face, and
bully
Jay
face
Walter
face.
correctly points out that Austin Theory has the golden egg, which I always bring up
True.
as one of the dumbest things WWE ever did. Wow. It was funny, promotional, whatever. But Theory, I don't remember if I said this on here, Working Stiff. I said the issue with Theory is Siri thought I was talking to her, so she turned on. He's Sammy Guevara to me,
Hmm.
in that you've given this guy numerous opportunities, numerous chances, numerous pushes. He's never been bad, but there have been so many extenuating circumstances that have sort of derailed things.
Well, last night for Theory, I thought was an all right kind of ease into the vision kind of thing, but there's definitely he needs a little bit more going on there. I think, you know, from a delivery standpoint, from a facial standpoint, I don't think he really conveyed anything that was really ooh, can't wait to see Austin Theory and what this new iteration of him is. Like, I don't think it started off on the right foot necessarily with this.
He
But what
looks
do you?
like Danny Garcia, and as a member of the Vision, he feels like the Danny Garcia of that group right now.
Mhm.
I loved Heyman's opening promo on Raw.
Me too.
I love this idea of you are looking at the future of the main event of WrestleMania. And I think he's right. I think for
I do
sure
too.
Braun Breaker is a guy who's going to main event a WrestleMania. I think given this is TKO, there is no way in the world Logan Paul will not main event a WrestleMania at some point in time. One of these 2 nights.
Hmm.
They'll find a way to put him on there. Bronson Reed is absolutely a guy who could wind up in a main event spot on Mania. And then there's Theory. Like he's got a lot more to prove than everybody else. We'll see. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to look back, December 30th, 2026 and be like, my God, Austin Theory put it all together. Heyman elevated him and he is remarkable.
Yeah, there's still a chance for that to certainly happen. We'll just see how it all goes, I guess. I did like that opening promo though,
I
with Heyman,
mean,
but then
yeah, but then again, it's like you
leading.
say that with Theory, we want to see it with Theory, but on that same show, I saw Javon Evans, I saw Trick
Mhm.
Williams, I saw an Obafemi promo. The next wave is coming up. Braun Breaker's
Yes.
promo of, yeah, it was kind of like, I'm going to take the shot at the internet and I'm going to take the shot at the people in the back and be like, well, y'all say I'm the future. I'm not the future. I'm the present. I'm the guy right now, and I'm not going to wait. And like, let's go. We'll see.
Yeah, we will indeed.
Wrestling
I
Oldhead
did like that
asks, oh,
exchange.
sorry. He goes,
No, that's okay.
he said, would you pull the trigger on Breaker on January 5th? No.
Would.
No, because you're it then becomes who's taking the title off of Braun Breaker going into WrestleMania.
Yeah, or you have a lame duck challenger. It's like you're kind of stuck in that position at that point too.
Honestly, if this is the wildest prediction that I will make, and I'm not really thinking this all the way through,
Hmm.
um, you wind up in some sort of situation where there is a non-finish, mass chaos. Something occurs where the title needs to be held up, and the winner of the Royal Rumble wins the world title.
Hmm. Oh,
Something
that's a
where it's, there, something totally egregious and horrible happens where Punk not only is stripped of the title, but you're risking suspension. He takes a shot at Adam Pearce. He takes a shot at Hunter. Like, AJ winds up accidentally getting hurt. Like, something that sets Punk off, so he's got a reason to not have the championship and not be in the Rumble, and then come after whoever wins the title at the Royal Rumble, be a Brock Lesnar, be a Braun Breaker, be a whoever, Roman Reigns. And now there's intrigue in the Rumble match itself. And it does take this pressure off a little bit. I think you need a little bit of time to get to Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker winning the world title feels like something we'll see by SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think so. I think at the very least we'd probably see him by SummerSlam. But I wouldn't be against it if they position in the right manner and they have it. If they just punt Punk and Breaker till WrestleMania, if you get intriguing and you give it like I don't know, you have to have a big hook for it to make it last that long. But I think there's maybe some potential because of that promo. I enjoyed their exchange last night a lot. I
I
did.
enjoyed the exchange. I enjoyed the promo. It does feel like it's a lot very quickly. You went from,
Mhm.
boy, I can't wait to see Braun Breaker on the main roster, to now the dude's going to be main eventing WrestleMania as world champion.
Yeah, yeah,
It's pretty close. Warner Breeze suggests two Charles Robinsons. I don't know if Flair's available.
it's good. That's a good point. Uh, as far as Raw goes, Robert, we had a follow up with Gunther. He took on our truth, took out our truth. Are you liking how they're handling Braun? Right, I'm not Braun, but Gunther right now. I'm not.
This was a great build. I can't wait to see Gunther and John Cena after what we just saw him do to his friend Arch. Oh no, that already happened. Darn it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. We went in reverse order here. This was fine. This kept the heat on Gunther. This was an easy match. This was a last Raw of 2025 kind of vibe to it. Totally fine. This is how they're going to use our truth. I'm sure he'd rather have the paycheck than not.
Sure. Yep. I don't know. I just have my questions about how they're handling Gunther so far. I think they could have done a better round. I think.
Because there's nowhere for him. The problem right now is and that's the other reason why holding up the title in abeyance may make the most sense. It's right. I went Jack Tunney on the title is being held in abeyance. Because if you have Gunther and Roman and Braun Breaker and Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre, all these somewhat directionless guys going into the Royal Rumble
Mhm.
to go win the world title, Jey Uso, like, well, that's interesting. Maybe it's AJ Styles. I'm going to win the Rumble so I can, main event my last WrestleMania. Like, there's a way to tell a bunch of compelling stories versus I'm going to win the Rumble to face someone.
Right. Yeah. A lot
Um,
of questions.
Raquel, Stephanie, and Nikki. It's a
Hmm.
shame we missed that on Match of the Year this last week, but
I like the finish. I like the finish. I like how they're handling Raquel and making her a powerhouse, and then Stephanie kind of swooping in there and taking getting the pinfall there. But yeah, we'll see what goes with that. Uh,
this Kabuki Warrior stuff, Dom. I would rather listen to you use that stupid tiny little microphone than
Oh
hear another
yes.
Kabuki Warriors promo ever again. It's like
Bob
they're
Barker.
playing into how annoying it is because they think it's funny because it gets heat,
Mhm.
but it is the wrong kind of heat. It is the I don't want to watch this. And if Rachel walked by and heard that, she'd be like, "Can you please put that on mute?" Like it's just screeching noise. It's horribly unpleasant. Um, Rey Mysterio and Austin Theory, it was a chance to reintroduce Austin Theory to the audience with a surefire opponent that's going to make him look good. We're going to put Logan Paul out there to add extra heat and really marry Theory as a member of the Vision. And then the big surprise was the return of Penta.
Penta, yeah, which I thought was a good way to use him and kind of put him in the mix of all those guys. So I did like that aspect of it all. And let me say too, I like the combo of Logan Paul and Paul Heyman together. They're great, like as a tandem. I
Yes,
really stood out to me on the show.
Maxine held her own a little bit in that Becky Lynch promo. I
Hmm.
didn't mind that. I thought that was pretty good. And then your main event with the Usos versus AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. I'm baffled.
I don't know what's going on. They tease like a little heel turn with Jay, and now they're the tag team champs. It is kind of a perplexing situation, but is this the right spot for them, though, Robert? I think, you're getting them over as baby faces again, and they're still a good act. So, plus you're
So
moving AJ Styles on to something different.
they used to do this thing where they would tease that Vince and Linda were going to split up.
Hmm.
And it made sense for Vince and Linda to split up because it was a horrible, toxic, evil relationship on TV. Asterisk.
Of course.
But they never ultimately did because we got to keep the McMahons together. I don't want to see Jey Uso separate from Jimmy. I don't want to see Jey Uso as a heel. I don't want to see Jey versus Jimmy. And when they did that little promo of like, man, nothing's going right for me and I feel bad. I'm sucking you into my vortex of awful. I don't want to see Jey Uso versus Jimmy again. So if it means just putting the tag titles on them, fine. I don't understand the point of Dragon Lee and AJ Styles as a team since it was so short lived. And I don't think it helped Dragon Lee all that much. And if you
He
were going
did
to
take the
take the
pin,
tag
too.
titles off of them, it could have been Javon Evans in a rematch. Like, okay. So now we're going to have the Usos in a white hot tag division, which includes, I guess, the War Raiders are still there and New Day.
Hmm.
We just saw New Day versus the Usos like a week ago. They
Right.
just we just saw the Viking Raiders lose. I know that someone in the chat suggested that we may see the Usos versus Lucha Bros at some point. Yeah, that'd be a hell of a lot of fun, but we got a lot of steps to get there.
Hmm.
And yeah, so it's like, all right, so Jey Uso starts the year off winning the Royal Rumble and becoming world champion, and ends the year back in a tag team, even though his theme song is "It's Just Me, Us."
Yeah, they might have to do a little shifting around with those lyrics.
Someone says the Dre Owens said, sorry, the Usos versus Braun and Austin Theory. I wouldn't be mad if we get to some version of the Vision holding the tag titles. I think that right now, there's a little bit of booking on the fly. Losing Seth when they did, they had a long-term plan. Obviously, that's not able to come to fruition. Now with Dom potentially on the shelf, we don't know how long. The Intercontinental title is kind of in flux. The tag titles are somewhat in flux right now. And with JD McDonough on the shelf, there's no Judgment Day to pivot back to.
Right. There isn't either. Finn did cut a brief promo too on Raw. I don't know if it showed up on the Netflix version of it, but I saw he did it with Brian Saxton, and it was good stuff. He said
Byron
putting
Saxton. Who
Judgment Day
was
on
it
his back.
with Byron Saxton?
Finn
Oh, no,
Balor,
they
same
didn't show
person.
that on TV.
They didn't
Byron
show it.
Saxton, friend of the show. Good dude.
How about that?
Fellow
Great.
Gator.
Is he really?
Oh, yeah. He and I went to UF at the same time. I think he's a couple years ahead of me, but yeah, we were on there at the same time. And big Byron Saxton fan. Love that dude. Also, shout out to Justin Roberts. It was his birthday yesterday.
Mm,
So,
birthday Justin.
yes. Well, unlike your boy Rob Van Dam, you know, the folks that are good to me, I'm good to them. And I am good to all y'all for joining us here today. We will be back tomorrow for, believe it or not, the last Rumor and Innuendo of 2025.
Jeez.
I know,
Okay.
what a spoiler. But we'll be back at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WWE Creative _ISHX account, the at Dominic D'Angelo X account, the at SE Scoops X account, and on YouTube on Rumor and Innuendo Podcast Heat and ad-free shows. So on behalf of the second person who spoiled the AEW pay-per-view for me, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Me and MJF, we're best buds, man. Shh.